What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one, I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock, what you should be looking out for the future. I'm also going to be talking about the future outlook for NIO. When do I think this thing is going to drop and drop and drop, and when do I think this thing is going to see a big explosion with the overall market? Because I am seeing something very, very interesting and very important for every investor to know. And before I get started and talk about the forecast, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Don't take any of this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire NIO community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the WeBull link down below and in the description. If you sign up for WeBull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you're guaranteed 12 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000. And you could always sell these 12 free stocks for cash and use that cash to buy some NIO shares for free. It's a limited time offer. The offer ends in just 4 days. Check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So NIO was a little bit down on Friday. It actually pushed up a bit in the very beginning, then came down. But there are some very important things that are going to affect NIO for the next couple of weeks, and I really want to talk about them. So when it comes to NIO's price action, as you know, let me pull up the data right here. NIO tends to be correlated with the overall market. You can see its beta or its price comparison in terms of its pairs. You can see there's a very big similarity to the way that they're moving. And what you'll notice right here is the trend is very, very key. So when the SPY and the whole market start to drop really hard, NIO tends to follow. Right. And when the market rallies and starts to explode, NIO also tends to follow. So, with that logic in mind, and if we are not accounting for additional factors like what's happening in China or some kind of catastrophic event, we're not talking about that stuff, right? We're talking about the trend that we're going to see most likely and what could play out, what I think is most likely to happen, right? So we have the FOMC meeting coming up September 20th through the 21st, and the market is not necessarily excited about this. I'm going to show you exactly why. So Jerome Powell talked about something very important. He mentioned that the central bank will use their tools forcefully, and they're going to have to attack inflation, keep it down, and they may have to keep rates higher than a lot of people would have anticipated, higher for longer durations of time. So we're not seeing the Fed switch on policy. Their open market operations are not going to be used to become more dovish as soon as some people would have expected. This means that more pain will be brought to the markets, to the economy, at least to a degree, than a lot of people would have expected. And he's doing this as a result to keep us afloat. So the market is now fearful, right? We're starting to see the market take a big hit. And as we approach this date, I do expect the market to come down even more than how much it came down already, because the market is starting to price in a more hawkish Fed. You can see there's a 61.5% probability of a total of 300 to 325 in terms of the basis points relative to the 275 to 300, which is less likely. This means that the Fed is most likely going to give us another 75 to 100 basis point hike. That's to be determined, but I wouldn't even say that 100 basis points is out of the question, seeing how Jerome Powell actually came out to be. He's notorious for being very, I wouldn't say dovish. I mean, yeah, he is notorious for being dovish, but also he's notorious for trying to keep the market afloat. And despite that, he used the word forcefully. He used the word, he used different words. He was very serious. So it really is kind of like a glimpse into what's going to happen. So the whole market, the SPY is going to most likely come down for the next couple of weeks. And the big date is going to be the 21st of September. So I believe two things. First thing is the market's going to respect a downtrend, kind of downtrend like this. But are we going to go to new lows in the market? Are we going to crash to like 350 on SPY? It's possible, but very unlikely in my opinion. And I believe this because you have to remember what's happening. Now, could I be wrong by saying I think it's unlikely? Sure, but I still feel that way. And I feel this way because we have a midterm this year. We have midterms this year. With all these things happening in politics, with this big election coming, a massive crash just a month and a half or like a month and a few days before midterm elections, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good at all. So I believe there's going to be an interference that comes that's going to stop SPY from crashing back to like 350 in my honest opinion, unless they want something really bad to happen during the midterms for the particular party. No, I'm trying to remain nonpartisan. I'm not in favor of either party. I'm just putting it out there. But I'm sure you guys get what I'm trying to hint at. And I like to stay away from politics, but I'm sure you're getting my point. There are going to be a lot of entities, and I'm referring to this as just not the only one, but there are a lot of people that could be in, or institutions that could be in play in this. The plunge protection team is notorious for pumping up the market, for interfering. We've seen them act many, many times, but not just them. A lot of institutions, they might do something different. If SPY comes like below 400, maybe into like the high 300s, 390 or so, there's a chance we might actually hover in this range and not come much, much, much lower than that. Then right after the FOMC meeting, which is where this line is, this is the second day of the FOMC, that's when the big rate hike decision is going to be made. I think the market is going to rip like this, and we're going to rally as we approach midterms. So I'm more bullish for the month of October. I think after FOMC, the last week of September, the market's most likely going to start pushing up. But before that, we're going to drop down. So just to draw this out, I don't know exactly where we're going to retrace to. I don't even want to use a Fibonacci retracement because the market is manipulated. But just to make this clear, there's a chance that we push down like this, just 400. SPY comes down like this. We push down and down and down into like the 390s. Maybe 380s are touched, but we actually bounce from there, and they stop us from coming much, much, much lower. So then the day of the FOMC meeting comes, SPY's at like 390 maybe, and then we get a big rally right after like this. And they artificially try to pump the market because the election is coming, right? Just for an example. Now, is this financial advice? No, I'm not guaranteeing this. It is still possible for us to come a little lower than this to like the 370s, 380s. But I'm talking about us going to like a new low, like 350. Could I see SPY doing that? It's possible, but I just still think it's unlikely. I really think that if they let that happen, it's not going to be good for that party. It's not going to be good for the midterms because one party will dominate and absolutely destroy the other party if they let that happen, in my opinion. So the market is manipulated. I think a lot of institutions will start buying. Shorts might start covering a little bit after this. The market's going to probably pump up like that. For NIO, what does this mean for NIO? To be blunt with you, I do see NIO coming down a lot more. We have these gaps down here. We have a gap towards 16. NIO could slowly downtrend towards that 16 level, guys. I know you don't like to hear that, but I see that coming. Then once FOMC passes, which would be technically right here. Once this passes, NIO is going to see a big recovery and start pushing right back up. But until then, I think it's going to remain choppy. And respecting a downtrend does not mean we have to be red every day. We could like drop a little bit, push up a bit, drop a little lower. But we're going to start making, in my opinion, lower highs and lower lows just for the next few weeks. All right? I think that's very likely. Based off what the Fed is doing, based off what Jerome Powell said, and look at the reaction. And we should pump, in my opinion, towards the last week of September. That's just my honest opinion. I think there is going to be a lot of manipulation in this market. And I would be surprised if we actually see the market push that low to like new lows for the year. NIO would come down pretty hard if that does end up happening. But I just don't think that's going to happen. Anyways, with that said, thank you all for listening. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I hope this was as clear as possible. So this is essentially what I'm seeing in the forecast. Please be prepared for anything. Remain calm, cool, and collected. And the last thing is, I could see this thing coming to the 17s, 16s, but I'd be surprised if we go all the way down to like the low teens. I'd be surprised. We should bounce around the low zone like this right after and start pushing up for NIO back to the 20s after September 21st. All right, so I think that's going to flip the switch. Remain calm, cool, and collected, guys. Do what you got to do. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you guys in the next video. NIO to the moon because the long-term future is still very bright. I see amazing deliveries. I see so many great things coming from the company. I'm still very bullish for the long term, so be ready. Thank you. Take care. Enjoy your weekend, and peace out.